Skittles.
And I'm Oreo.
Today we are going to teach you how to make a 4-fingered hand paw for our pattern.
Look how nice.
Wow! Tip: to double check the sizing, make sure to grab your ruler and line it up with that inch mark. Take your paper pattern and oh yeah. Cut it, including cutting out the paw pad.
Make sure the arrows match up with the fur direction.
The pattern will tell you what it is and how many you need to cut out.
After tracing, make sure to flip the pattern and slap it.
No, trace it.
Also, be sure to trace the marks as well so you know how the pattern is supposed to line up.
Label your pieces with left or right and what piece it is.
For example, we used L for left and P for pinky.
Cut around all the fingers rather than cutting it out. This will make shaving easier.
Now, trace the arm bottom.
Be sure to also trace where the paw pad will be.
Now, shave the fur on the fingers.
You'll need a mask to help prevent damage to your lungs. Doesn't have to be the fancy one we have. You can also use the disposable face mask. Anything's better than nothing.
You will also need a brush.
Lastly, you'll need a shaver. The one we use is an Andy's dog clipper with a size 10 blade. Do your research and find the one that works best for you. Be sure to oil your blade before and after. Be sure to oil your blade before and after use to prevent rust.
Start by doing light pressure to get rid of the bulk of the fur. As you are going along, continue to use more and more pressure till you get the desired length. Shave all the fingers.
Make sure to brush your fur between shaves. Now for shaving the palm. We like to keep the wrist part of the paw longer, but it's really up to you and how you want it to look.
Use something to mark where you have to shave. I use a pin to put it through the fur where the bottom of the paw pad is. Going very lightly, start shaving that harsh line.
When you have a nice shave at the top and you trimmed off the excess, you can start blending. Now that you got fur all over yourself, double clap and make it magically disappear.
Didn't you just spend a long time lint rolling yourself?
What? No.
Now it's time to start sewing.
Pull out the thread to be the length of an outstretched arm and to your shoulder.
Thread it through the needle.
Wrap it around your finger, twist, and pull.
This process is difficult to learn, but there are other ways to do it. As long as you tie a big enough knot, you're good.
This part is optional, but here you will learn how to make claws.
Our preferred material is minky. Make sure the direction of the fur is going from the base to the point of the nail.
Trace the pattern on the back and fold the material over so you have two sides.
Next, you will sew the claw, but not the base of it, because you will be flipping it inside out.
After sewing, trim the excess material and flip it inside out.
Grab some polyester fill and stuff it.
Now, sew the base of the claw.
We marked on the pattern where the claw placement should be.
Now pin the darts. Fold it over and clip it together. Clip the claw in as well as the entire dart.
It should look like this.
Start hand sewing by putting the needle in at the beginning.
You can machine sew, but we've decided to hand sew because for us, it was easier to make sure everything is sewn together correctly.
Go a bit ahead and put the needle through again. This will cause a loop that you'll thread the needle through. This is called a blanket stitch.
Sew all the darts.
For sewing the paw pads, we recommend using an embroidery hoop. You can find them at most craft stores and even Walmart. It needs to be big enough for your project.
Cut out a piece of fabric that's longer than the hoop. We are using a material called minky.
You want to take note on the direction of the fur if you're using minky.
Place the upper hoop on top. Push it down firmly and make sure there are no wrinkles in the middle. Tighten the embroidery hoop.
Then take your finger pieces and pin them on. Make sure the direction of the fur is going in the right direction.
It's gonna look something like this.
Now it's time to sew around the paw pad.
Make sure you have a similar color as the material you are using so it matches.
When sewing, take your time and go slow. Remember, you're in control of the machine, not the other way around.
Using small scissors, you will cut around the paw pads.
Keep very close to the fabric, but be sure not to cut the fur underneath.
When you are done, it will look something like this.
Next, clip together the fingers for sewing.
Line up the marks you made.
Now sew all the way around.
After all the fingers are sewn together, sew the bottom parts together.
Match up the seams and end at the little divot.
Sew the bottom arm with the correct side of the fingers.
Attach like so.
When sewing the thumb, start at the seam and sew to the point at the bottom like so.
For making the liner,
take the pattern for the liner and put it on your fabric of choice. Trace all around.
when you cut it out, cut around the material and have 2 pieces.
Sew the pieces together. These are the settings I use to sew Lycra. Take your time with this. Sewing this material can be difficult.
Cut the excess material off. Use small scissors to get between the fingers.
Lay the liner on your paws and clip them on.
Sew the liner using a blanket stitch all the way around.
Turn your paw inside out
And make sure that you stuff the fingers.
and trim the fabric that is hanging off.
Cut out the material for the cuff. We like to use a matching minky.
Start by folding in the edge.
Clip it onto your paw starting from the outside of the thumb. Make sure to brush the fur out all the way.
When you get to the end, lay it on top of the folded fabric and clip.
Now sew normally around the cuff.
Brush out your seams, fold in the material, and clip.
Sew right at the edge where the fur meets the minky.
Flip the paw cuff inside out and trim the excess material.
Next, you will pull the fur from the seam. Here's a before, after. Personally, we use a needle for this.
Something we like to do is taking small scissors and trim around the paw pads.
We also like to trim between the thumb and the pointer finger. You don't have to do this, but if you do, make it blend well.
We also like to trim where the seams are on the fingers because it makes it look well blended.
Lastly, we blended in the harsh line under the paw pad a little more. Now you're done! Yay!
Woo 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 woo!
I'm so proud of you.
Me too!